I I really want to just emphasize to the point that you're still right here in this time, and because you right here in this time, you can you can be your best possible self, and you need something to compare to.
You'll hear it here first.
You are now rocking with the hottest business and spirituality podcast show, the Transform You Live Show, hosted by Marcus Hart and Paul Greaves. This is the only place where you can get on your own personal transformation journey, drawn from personal stories, books, and much, much more. For more information, visit transformubroadcast.com. That's transform the letter U, broadcast.com. Only on the Transform You Media Network. Now here's your host.
Hello, my Transformers, and welcome to the Transform You Live Show. This is the only show in the universe where you can make real life and business transformation, harnessing the power of optimism, hope, and faith. Today, we have a very special show today. Today, we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. What else? But there's really something spiritual that's happening with New Year's resolutions. If we look really deeply into New Year's resolutions, we will see the root word resolve. Solutions. Resolve those old solutions. Many times we get so hell-bent on moving away from the traditional way of like setting New Year's resolutions, because the problem is we're totally confused about what New Year's resolutions are. We get them so confused with the energies of goals. Are we setting goals and moving forward, thinking forward, or are we creating these quote unquote New Year's resolutions? But what exactly are them? So we're going to dive in today with Paul, and we're going to talk to you about exactly what is a New Year's resolution and the different energy surrounding how you properly set these, what you do with these. How can it better you as a person internally? With life so busy and hectic, we were very, very hectic and busy all the way from last year. If most of us might have not been doing nothing, but if you were like me, you probably were very busy. You probably stay very busy. You probably stay busy with kids. You probably stay very busy with your job. And you felt like life just passed you on by despite everything that was happening around you. So now you got some things to resolve. So let's teach you how to set some New Year's resolutions so you can go back in time, look at where you left off at, pick those things up, and help yourself transform for this year. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, it's good to be back. Everyone, all of my transformers out there, all of our transformers out there. Good friend Paul is right there with me. How's it going, Paul?
Marcus, Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to all of our listeners out there.
Thank you, Paul. Happy New Year to you as well. And, with New Year's in mind, there's going to be a lot of people that is going to be goal setting. There's a lot of people who's probably the more traditional way of thinking that says like, hey, why don't we just set a New Year's resolution? Have you then done either or yet, Paul?
Marcus, I'm happy to say I'm 6 days into no chocolate. I'm doing well.
Excellent. I'm falling behind here because I have not put pen to anything. I have not put pen to paper to write about anything that I want to achieve this year, anything that I want to put out as a resolution. And I don't know if it's because I've been busy or it's because I really want to think it all the way through.
Because I can see where you're coming from there. Yeah, it soon creeps up on you and everything. But, if you did have a resolution, what would you kind of edge towards?
First of all, I think we need to help people understand, and distinguish between, what resolution is and what goal is, because I think we are marrying the two together every year. And because of this type of like mushing together, we got a mushing together of two different energies that just, they don't act the same, because like when you look at resolutions, as we were talking on the other side, Paul, we we're talking about how when life is so busy, you oftentimes you fast forward. You feel like you fast forwarding through life almost. And boy, every one of your friends, they still hanging out, they still get a chance to do some of the fun stuff, but not you. and so you feel like you got these things in life that you still want to resolve. So we look at that root word of resolution. It's like resolve. Maybe there's some things, within, that if I could resolve, it would help me, as a person grow and develop, and it would push me ahead and make me feel spiritually, better, and make me a little bit more positive and more happy. Whereas goals, on the other hand, these are more short term. These are more measurable. We can kind of see these, in action. We got some tangible about these things, and we're not as frustrated. And I think that's where we kind of draw the line here. So I got some resolutions. That definitely some things that I want to resolve from last year that I didn't get a chance to resolve. Some things from 10 years ago that, like, I'm looking back out and like, what, I would really love to resolve those things now where I'm at now. And with the mindset that I have now, I really feel like I can resolve those things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just sitting here thinking, kind of when you're trying to resolve something, you're definitely looking back in the past and identifying these things that haven't gone well or you need to change, and hence the resolution there. So I can really see where you're coming from with the resolving, and obviously with the goal setting. That's kind of more forward thinking. Do you agree? And
Yeah.
it's something you want to achieve. And as you said, a goal is more tangible. You can put kind of constraints on it when you want to achieve it by. Whereas a resolution is something you really do want to resolve.
And I love that you use that word forward thinking, because like we need to be able to do both. We need to be able to have a forward way of thinking, and then also, oftentimes, turn our backs and, continue to step backwards, forwards, and look back and look at our lives and examine our lives and say, there's still some part of, what happened on this day that, like, I really didn't like the way I reacted. And you know what? I can go back and I can resolve this. I can look at how I've been pushed, and how I'm, how I feel more, more inclined now to react more differently as I move ahead now, because like I can see where I went wrong now, and I can start correcting these patterns. And when you do that, you feel totally more connected to, everything else around you. You feel, where it's like, life isn't just happening to you anymore. And I think that's like the problem as we're aging up. We feel like life is just happening to us.
Yeah, definitely. I totally see where you're coming from there. It's, if you're able to, as you said, kind of look back in the past and identify times when you've, maybe acted differently or, not in the correct way, and you're able to resolve that. And when that issue comes again, you're able to think, well, I'm going to learn from my mistake last time. I'm going to resolve the way I'm doing it, and hopefully come out with a better outcome.
Yeah, exactly. This is real crucial as we step in to this new year. People would say, well, are you dwelling then on things? No, Not exactly. I I really want to just emphasize to the point that you're still right here in this time, and because you right here in this time, you can you can be your best possible self, and you need something to compare to in order to look at who you are and who you want to become. And again, because like you said, there's no tangibles with resolving things. You got to have that template of like of just looking at like who you were before. And boy, because when I look at some of my old ways, old past, my younger self, I definitely oftentimes want to go back to take a trip back in the future, like Back in the Future.
Yeah.
Like that movie Back in the Future. We should jump in a Ducati and go tell my young self, like, hey, maybe you should do this way.
Yeah, that would be good if we were able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good not to, but it's but it's good not to have any regrets. The continuous practice of no regrets while you're doing this. So as you're doing this exercise, going through this exercise of like looking at what traits or what things that you have done in these little situations, these little run-ins. It's just like, hey, thank you, self, that I got into that situation. I have no regret. I'm here now. So let's look at what we can do now.
Marcus, you're so right on there, and I love. If people aren't watching us, Mark has got a great smile on his face when he's talking about going back and having no regrets, etc. Which is what we want. And one thing you said there, Marcus, was about comparing to yourself. You're not comparing against anyone else. You can only compare against yourself. And if you can resolve things from your past to now, and you can compare that to the person you are now, rather than the one you were in the past, I think that's just so powerful. What we can do.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of resolutions. They make you appreciate yourself, and goals on the other end, they make you strive and look at something you want to be, which is totally outside of you. And you hit it right on the nail. You really got the revelation from that, Paul, and brilliant there. So and that's like the hardest thing to do. Looking at who I was, looking at me, and people think they can't learn anything from themselves. They think they don't have none of the tools or the assets necessary to really make transformation on their inner selves and make themselves better. We always like looking for I'll just throw a name out there. Maybe that Barry Bonds or someone, I don't know, that Bo Jackson who can do everything. Yeah, that's a good one. Bo Jackson, Bo knows baseball, Bo knows football. Yeah. Why don't I be like Bo or Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan or someone? But instead, you have a good resume of mistakes. We call those things mistakes, but really they're just bad decisions, and good bad decisions. Because now that you can label them good bad decisions, you can learn from these good bad decisions and do your homework on yourself and really develop yourself and push yourself to this great path of enlightenment.
Yeah, that's just fantastic, and I think it's the experience we all get. If you're still here, you've got the experience. You've got through some troubles in your past. Everyone's gone through something which has been difficult, and we've all kind of transformed organically. And if you can really look back and think, okay, maybe I've learned something from this, so this is going to make me stronger in the future, or has made me stronger in the future. I think that's just so powerful when we can really identify those times, those specific times when you've really made a dodgy decision, but you've got through it and you're here to talk about it and learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be so many people they were doing that, right before the clock strike 12. They were already saying, thank God 2020 is gone. Yeah, just thank God 2020 go, but it's a real good history lesson for us all. And although it's gone, there's so many things in 2020 that we have yet to resolve, and we got to remember that. Rather it's for our professional careers, because there was a lot of people that was out of work, and so we have to get back to work, or we have to figure out what we can do in the meanwhile. Yeah, and then with this pandemic, where do we go from here with this? And we're still social distancing, we're still not hugging, we're still not shaking hands. So 2020, whether you hate it or love it, it definitely has transformed us, and it's definitely gave us a new way of thinking, and so we need to embrace this and accept all of these things and put them all into consideration. So Paul, just after hearing this, what do you feel it will be like, one tip, that maybe people can do in order to, like, just constructively, put together a way to start working towards, some of these things they may want to resolve in their life?
That's a really good question, Marcus, and I can hear it in your tone and the voice how you're moving there from the resolution to something more kind of optimism there. But really, with the resolution, I think you can't set these goals or really look towards the future until you've really taken a good long look at, especially like a year like 2020 and how it was, and how we can learn and all grow from this, and really just really take something positive from it, because we're gonna, as you said, lots of people woke up on the first and thought, thank goodness 2020 is over and done with, but it hasn't been resolved. Lots of things that haven't been resolved from last year, and this is where we really need to look back and start to take something positive from it, and really use these lessons we've learned from last year, and really, hopefully we can start talking about goal setting and be more optimistic. So I think we need that in our lives at the moment with everything going on. But there's still lots of things to be resolved from last year, and if we can use this to help set up our goals for this year, I think that's one thing which we all can be using right now.
That's great. I like that. Let's look at the positives. Let's be optimistic. Let's also take, the things we didn't resolve, lay them out as foundation, and, so that we can start building upon them with goals to, look forward, so excellent, Paul. I couldn't say it better myself. So that's great. It's brilliant. And pen to paper. I haven't did it, so you guys are probably hearing it from me saying like, dude, you haven't even did it. So I'm just living in it. I'm just immersing in it. I'm just living through life right now. But I am going to put that pen to paper. Pen to paper is the best way to do it. But if you don't have time to put pen to paper, there's something that did work for me last year that I really love doing, that I do every year, and that's the vision board. We'll talk about, we'll do our thing about vision board, soon, but we probably do that next episode. But vision board, put the vision board together, start looking at some of the things, that, didn't get resolved. Put that on, if you had something on the vision board from last year and it didn't, you wasn't able to manifest that didn't come to pass, put it back on there. And then put on some of the new things you want on the vision board, so these these things are great. And redecorate the house with different art pieces, or different um, different a different motif that that's going to motivate you, uh different symbolic things that's going to be your theme, for the year. That one word theme that like you can like always go back on. I forgot what mine was by the end of the year because I was so burnt out. I could not remember what that word was. I loved, I had a good word that I couldn't remember what it was. But like establish that word, write it down, every month at the beginning of every month, so you can keep, or just if you got a calendar or a planner, just start writing it across every month so that you won't forget like I did at the end of the year. Yeah, but it's powerful though. There's power in words, one word themes, and maybe redecorating your house in a theme that's just gonna motivate you. So these things are great. We'll dig into these things as this month unfold, and Paul, it's gonna be exciting. What do you think?
I can't wait. And yeah, I know in the past, Marcus, we spoke about these things, which can really help everyone out in whatever walk of life you're in. But I think what you're kind of saying there is that it's never too late to start. If you haven't made any goals or started to kind of resolve things on January 1st, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can, people can work to their own time frames and really, implement things at their own speed. As long as you're doing something to better yourself, to look back and kind of resolve things from the past and really set those goals for the future, it really doesn't matter when you can start it. And yeah, really looking forward to the next few weeks, our next few episodes, because we're going to have some real diamonds to give out to people here, and which they can really take on board and work with us and really help them out for the future.
Yeah, and as always, big guests. Look forward for those big guests as well. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's help make this show part of the top 1%. We are in the top 3%, but let's make it the top 1%. And you already know how you're supposed to do that, and that's by simply sharing the show, sharing the show, sharing the show, sharing the show. If you like what you heard, tell a friend about it. And if you haven't already, leave a review. Reviews always help, and rating the show as well. You can do that on Apple. You can alternately leave a like on Spreaker.com. Those are always appreciated. And if you haven't gotten your calendar already, I have a little treat on the other end that's going to, give you insight on how you can get a calendar, that is themed, a personal themed calendar that has the Transform You live show. Some of the stuff we covered last year, we turned it into a calendar for this year. So it might be pretty exciting for you to pick that up. So until next time, we'll catch up with you guys on the next episode. Many blessings, peace, and lots of love. Boy, I tell you, after that particular episode, I really feel I'm ready. I need to put some things in action. Because as I mentioned, sometimes there's some things 10 years ago that we need to go back and resolve. And as Paul mentioned, we can take the things we want to resolve in our lives that can ultimately be the chrysalis to really start to work inside of us and lay that down as the foundation, and then build upon that foundation different goals we want to set for this year to move forward. So we can start walking back forwards and looking back at the same time, comparing our old selves to our new selves, leaving that old self as a template, as a learning curve to what we want to do. Because sometimes we do too much of like looking at the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the Stephen Curry's, or whoever you may be looking at of the world, and thinking to ourselves like, gee, I really want to be like that guy. If I can set these goals and get to that level. But you already got something to work with. You got yourself, you got your experiences, you got what you have been through. Embrace those things. Start making the adjustments right now, and before you know it, you'll be making real life and professional business transformation. You'll be on your way. So take the time out right now to follow us on IG at Transform You Live Show. That's at Transform You Live Show. And when you head over there, you're going to find an opportunity that's like no other, where you can track your month to month with all of the great things that we offered up last year with a monthly calendar. We got a 2021 monthly calendar that you will be able to benefit from. Yeah, we rolling that out. You might want to get your hands on that. So look forward to chatting with you guys next week. Until next time, many blessings.